In 2015, Innovation Norway undertook a market study covering opportunities in South Africa and East Africa. This was prepared by Professor Peter Britz and Tom Shipton from the Department of Ichthyology and Fisheries, located at Rhodes University in South Africa. The study revealed that a huge opportunity exists to make up the growing supply of fish, which is estimated to rise by 1.8 million tons by 2030. This is being influenced by the growth in sub-Saharan African economies, which is on average 5.6%, and is being driven by rapid urbanization and the consumption of commodity products. Disposable income is increasing, but consumers are price sensitive, and species such as tilapia are a preferred choice. In Africa, access to sites is limited through the availability of infrastructure and services, thus restricting aquaculture development to major urban nodes. Aquaculture development in Africa has historically been focused on small-scale subsistence farming. However, in recent years, governments have begun to adopt policies to encourage investment in commercial aquaculture. The challenge to investors is to devise robust strategies to establish aquaculture value chains that have sufficient economies of scale to encourage service industries and become significant players in the market. Uganda has made good progress in establishing a commercial aquaculture sector. Government has prioritized the sector, investing in skills and research and technology. The Ugandan Lake Victoria Northwest Crescent would be a logical node for Norwegian suppliers to target in the short term. In Uganda, the demand for fresh tilapia is estimated at 100,000 tons. Export markets include the EU, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, Dubai, Israel, and the USA. In Kenya, the government support is too focused on small-scale production. Large-scale commercial ventures need supportive policies from government to support value chains. Approximately 70% of domestic fish production, 130 to 140,000 tons, comprised of freshwater fish from Lake Victoria, is consumed annually. In Tanzania, the potential for aquaculture is vast. It has a 1,400-kilometer coastline and access to major lakes. Tanzania's fisheries produce 350,000 tons per annum, mainly from the Great Lakes, Victoria, Tanganyika, and Nyasa. However, lack of infrastructure and government strategies constrain the sector. Species farmed in these countries mentioned are dry dagga, fresh Nile tilapia, and North African catfish. The Great Lakes region in East Africa provides a major opportunity for cage culture in Lake Victoria, Albert, Kivu, and Tanganyika. Lake Victoria is the second largest lake in the world, measuring 68,800 kilometers. It has a mean depth of 40 meters and a maximum depth of 84 meters. It has a surface water temperature of 26 to 29 degrees between September and May, with winter temperatures dropping from 26 to 24 degrees from June to August. Big opportunities for the region lie in the production of tilapia. Norwegian companies can contribute to the supply of genetically selected quality tilapia seed, adapted to local conditions, equipment for cage culture operations, and they can also invest in tilapia feed manufacture and supplying processing equipment. Uganda is centrally located to the DRC, South Sudan, Rwanda, and Kenya, a region which is increasing in demand for fresh tilapia. Basic elements of a commercial aquaculture value chain have been established in Uganda. Opportunities for Norwegian companies are clear, but risks would be service, supply and product distribution bottlenecks related to inadequate infrastructure, a higher cost of doing business compared to other tilapia producing regions, and competition from cheaper imported products. Uganda's established production capacity for aqua feeds is currently reported to be 30,000 tons per annum, with significant expansion potential. There is an opportunity for Norwegian feed manufacturers to provide competitive technology for feed manufacture and to consider partnerships in Uganda. The coast of Tanzania, which is 1,400 kilometers, offers an opportunity for large-scale cage culture of marine fish. Suitable species such as cobia and other Indian Ocean species will have relatively high production costs, but accessing customers who are not as price-sensitive as the regional customer could yield a potential export market. Challenges include lack of investor interest and government support for commercial marine farming. South Africa has a world-class infrastructure with well-developed roads and ports. However, environmental conditions for both marine and freshwater aquaculture in South Africa are marginal. South Africa has a very exposed coastline, limited freshwater resources, and unfavorable temperature regimes in most areas. Commercial aquaculture is limited to shore-based abalone, mussel and oyster farming and a small volume of trout. For Norwegian companies, the potential exists to expand trout aquaculture in state dams from 1,000 to 10,000 tons, and to culture small volumes of salmon for the local market in shore-based, recirculating aquaculture systems. The offshore cage technology, which is currently being developed in Norway, could be explored in the future for farming in the ocean. Aquaculture feed manufacture is an industry which could be considered for the region and for export. There is a growing demand in South Africa for trout and salmon, and imports are currently 5,000 tons per annum. A niche opportunity exists to develop trout cage culture on a scale of 1,000 to 10,000 tons per annum on the two freshwater state dams, Sterkfontein and Van der Kloof in South Africa. The Lesotho Highlands water scheme has greatly expanded the trout production capacity of the region, with the two Katsi farms' projected capacity of 6,000 tons per annum. The Mahali site is yet to come on stream, and this will yield further opportunities. South African sites have been identified as potential commercial aquaculture opportunities as part of the government's Operation Pagisa or Blue Ocean strategy. Opportunities for Norwegian suppliers are cage systems, feed and support services for aquaculture. A niche opportunity exists to link shore-based salmon or trout RAS or semi-RAS systems to abalone farms on the west coast. These farms pump large volumes of seawater. Fresh salmon is landed at 84 Rand per kilogram in South Africa, and if shore-based production costs are lower, then this is a clear market opportunity for locally produced salmon. Possible opportunities for Norwegian suppliers are thus RAS systems for salmon aquaculture on a scale of 1,000 to 5,000 tons. Opportunities exist in East London for land-based aquaculture solutions, and proposals are currently being looked into. Norwegian companies have the opportunity to get involved in developing these projects and providing the technology and the solutions. NOFIMA was commissioned by the Fisheries and Agriculture Industry Research Fund to produce a report on the opportunity for Norwegian salmon in the South African market. This was completed in 2014 after NOFIMA met with the main retailers in South Africa. Aqua Group sees big potential in Africa for the next 5 to 10 years. So far they have made 5 million NOK total sales in sub-Saharan Africa. They have sold steel cages to Lesotho, cages and docks to Ghana, and some minor land-based developments in Kenya and Tanzania. In Tunisia and Algeria they have delivered 7 to 8 complete cage farms totaling around 50 to 55 million NOK in the last 5 to 6 years. Aquaplan Neva conducted a feasibility study for Durban in South Africa in 2004. The belief is that South Africa has the opportunity to take part in the development of an aquaculture as a major future export industry. Aquaplan have also completed studies in Namibia. Skretting has a plant in Egypt, one of the 3 largest tilapia producers in the world. Recently, Skretting established a plant in Nigeria, which was a joint venture with distributor Durant Fishing Industries. Nigeria is the second largest aquaculture producer in Africa. Aquaculture is not a formalized sector in the countries targeted in the report, and attention should be paid to policy and government's capacity to support commercial aquaculture investment. Opportunities exist for investment in the growing economies in the region, on average 6% and above. However, corruption remains a serious challenge for investors in the region. This can be managed by conducting due diligence into individuals, contracts, and working practices associated with an investment. Local business partners in these markets can greatly reduce and enhance business growth for Norwegian companies. A good example of a local partnership is the Skretting investment in an aquaculture feed manufacture plant with Durant Fishing Industries in Nigeria. This has resulted in their adaptation of their business model to local conditions. Recently, there has been a stronger focus on business promotion from the Norwegian government, and the embassies, together with Innovation Norway, are required to play a more active role in assisting Norwegian companies. The Norwegian government and public institutions such as Innovation Norway can assist by facilitating discussions with African governments on how to address key constraints to unlock investment into aquaculture development. Norway has a strong reputation in the regulatory side of the aquaculture business, and support can be provided through the Institute of Marine Research, Veterinary Institute, and the Directorate of Fisheries.